All right. So, just to give myself a refresher once again, what happened last time? Basically, yeah, so we basically finished up the second story involving the beast. Things didn't go so well for the white hair girl. And then we moved on to the Industrial Revolution, basically. A story about Jacopo, again, the white hair girl, and Maria, you know? And, at first, Jacopo was kind of just an ass, He just appeared to be just a straight up asshole for no reason, treating the white hair girl very badly. And then finally, it all culminated into him locking her inside like a shed in the garden, which is very horrible. As it turns out, though, Maria, the maid, or a maid in the house, who appeared to be a very good friend to the white haired girl, was actually also a childhood friend to Jacopo, was manipulating everyone behind the scenes to make him super jealous and, making it seem like the girl was cheating on him and making him react in such a way. It still doesn't justify his actions, though, I feel like. I mean, she even said it, Maria. She even said that if they just sat down and talked about it, a lot of these misunderstandings would have been fixed. But no, he didn't choose to do that. So things aren't going so well. Once again, it seems like in every era, in every story, the white hair girl just always has problems with relationships. She's like a otome protagonist that keeps getting bad ends, is what I'm getting from this. Anyway, I've also noticed, by the way, I think I looked it up actually. The Transcontinental Railway. I mean, it should be. It's basically common sense for everybody else, but not for me because I'm pretty dumb. But I looked it up, and it seems like that's a American thing, right? Actually, that was the thing that happened in the United States of America. That's interesting because at first I thought we started in England, right? England, maybe around Europe, but now we're in America. So maybe the house has always been moving. Actually, it wasn't always in the same place. Because there's no way. I mean, as far as I know, there's no way in the 1600s was there even America. I mean, I could be wrong though. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. My history is so bad. But when I remember America, it was colonized, right? And by that time, there weren't any kind of like Shakespeare plays or whatever. It's like, or at least not the beginnings of Shakespeare anyway. Shakespeare started in Europe, as far as I know. So there's no way that America existed back then. So there's no way the house existed back then in the same place. So like, yeah. So we've been moving around, not just in time, but also location. Anyway, let's see. Master, let's continue. Are you shocked, or do you instead lament this development? I was deeply sorrowful, though to a lesser degree about Maria's true intentions, more my shameful inability to recognize her machinations. At the time, I too believed that Maria was the white-haired girl's one and only ally. Yeah, she's kind of an ass too, She basically tricked everyone. Still don't know why, but she is like a big troll that, is pretending to be a good girl, but actually she's very, very evil. It was not until everything had drawn to a close that I discovered the truth. Then I know now how the tale ends, you say? Yes, that is correct. Well aware that it was not the case, I told you the story in a way that suggested she was on the white-haired girl's side. Oh my, I wonder if that constitutes lying to you, Master. I merely wanted to present the events to you in order, starting from the beginning, when Mario's ill intentions were still veiled in shadow. I wanted you to know the same feeling of consternation I had experienced. Consternation? Consternation? The white-haired girl continued to write letter after letter. They were all addressed to her dear husband, detailing her ever-persistent love for him, and her desire for their relationship to return what it had once been. My beloved, I'm sure your hands are quite full right now, but that is fine. It's not changing my love for you. Do you remember the day we went out together? That was perhaps the most wonderful day of my life. At a truly incredible time. I still treasure the gift you gave to me, for it's the one and only present I received from you. That reminds me, Maria tried to teach me how to dance. I doubt I will ever progress beyond being laughably bad, though. It would be nice if someday you and I could dance together. Perhaps when you have a little respite from work, we could go out again. Maybe take a carriage somewhere a little farther away. And we could dine at a restaurant more to your liking. Although I think the cuisine at the other restaurant was exquisite personally. Do I perhaps have an unrefined palate? Maria altered the letters before delivering them, however. She changed the addressee from Jacobo to another man. She would cut away the top of the page with Jacobo's name on it, and the space below write a different name. She could not have mimicked the white-haired girl's handwriting for the full length of the letter, but Maria could make a single name look adequately similar. Okay, that's what I was wondering actually. I wonder how she was doing it. Like, if she just simply rewrote the letter herself, obviously the handwriting would be different. If she simply changed the name, it would also be kind of obvious. If she just wrote it herself, but she did it very sneakily, like little parts instead of the whole thing. It would, after all, be quite difficult to notice minor discrepancies in such a small quantity of text. But then, well, I mean, wouldn't the white-haired girl say specific things? Like, remember that time you gave me that, pento thingy? What do you call it? I forgot what you call it, actually. The little dancing wheel thing that showed an animation. And stuff like that. They're specific, right? But unless Mario changed those too, I feel like it would be obvious if you just read it, in that way. Again, another letter. Why does he keep writing these? To Jacob's eyes, the modified letters looked like professions of love for another man. The more she inscribed her feelings for Jacobo, the greater the turmoil grew within his heart. Even though her love was directed toward him. I can't believe what I'm reading. A restaurant more to your liking? I knew it. You have been going out with other men, although while pretending to be chaste in my presence. I shall treasure the gift you gave to me, God's sake. I'd be fucking kidding. Maybe Maria has changed it a little bit, but I feel like the white-haired girl, maybe she should be more specific. If she was more specific, it would be more obvious, right? That it was for him. But But I'm sure she can't leave that room. She'll never see this man again. In time, she'll let go, and soonly. Listen to me. Resign myself to the hope that everything will fix itself. How did I end up like this? Such a pitiful man I've become. On the surface, Maria acted quite heartbroken at the sight of their suffering. But when she returned to her room, the walls echoed her cackles. She derived a great deal of entertainment from their squirming. The more they writhed in anguish, the deeper her satisfaction grew. And both the white-haired girl and Jacob continued to place their confidence in Maria, the one responsible for everything. The white-haired girl had never possessed a sense of distrust, and so she took everything Maria said as truth, continuing, in her agony, to write Jacobo letters. Letter after letter after letter. My beloved, are you still tied up with your work? It has been some time since we last saw one another, so I know not what you've been doing of late. I only hope you remain in good health. I would, if possible, prefer to tell you everything in person, but I do not have the courage, so these letters are my only option. Am I adequately expressing my feelings? My love for you? If you have the time, I would appreciate a response. You're never gonna get a response, though. Not as long as I'm intercepting them. There's no way I'm allowing these, or your love to get to him. Again, I get the idea that you're supposed to be sympathetic, because he's being tricked by Mario and everything. But at this point, I feel like, if you it's the classic cliche, isn't it, right? Like, if you truly love her, if you really think that she loves someone else, come on, come on. If you actually love her, you would let her go, right? But obviously that's not gonna happen. Obviously we know that it's a misunderstanding and that she really does love him, but that's why if you act this way, if you do think another person, I don't know, I guess it depends on the context, I guess, but at least in this story, if you really do believe that she loves someone else, then it's like you want her to I guess, like, you want the best for her, if that makes sense. Especially because it's like, at first it was an arranged marriage anyway, right? It wasn't like they fell in love, it's like, oh, they spent so many years together. It was just more like a political marriage, but not really, I guess. I guess during this setting, it's not really political, it's more like influence, I guess. Is that political? I'm not sure. Anyway. I could just stop reading them. It would certainly make things easier. But if I don't, my imagination will go run wild. fantasizing about her writing to this other man, and what she might be putting in her correspondence. I'd be better off knowing the truth than torture myself with fantasy. It's the better option. Jacob accepted every letter Mario delivered without fail. He would merely nod as he accepted it, his face contorted in discomfort, and then pore over the text when he was alone. I assumed he did not want to see, or didn't want her to see his heart sinking to darkness. Had he put his trust in his wife rather than Maria, he would almost certainly be able to realize the letters were directed at him, despite the altered recipient name. Everything she wrote about concerned him, after all. How could someone who had lived as isolated as a life as her have so many identical experiences with two distinct men? Why could he not find it himself to trust her? Perhaps doubting her was simply easier. If you were in his position, would you trust her? Well, he probably also has an inferiority complex. That's probably what it is. That's why he acts so arrogant and haughty all the time. Because he feels himself internally that he's not ever good enough. So that's why he always tries to, bully everyone else into thinking that he's the best, even though that's a horrible idea. It just makes you seem like the smaller man anyway. Would you maintain faith in her, the woman who had waited so long? Would you believe the feelings she professed for you were genuine? She continued writing letters, day after day, week after week, without hiatus. Again, it reminds me of the story that she mentioned in the very beginning with Mel. How like a girl was stuck in a castle, writing a letter to a prince and everything. She had, by and large, run out of things to say, but that did not put an end to her letter writing. She simply repeated what she had written before. She ran out of material. Nevertheless, they did not see one another in person. The white-haired girl, forbidden from leaving her shed, could only wait for her husband to pay her a visit. My beloved, there is little bit of fog out today. Weather like this reminds me of my home country. I was born on an island perpetually covered in a thick fog. I'm not saying I would like to return, but thinking about it does make me feel rather homesick. Does that happen to you? That reminds me. Aside from that one time, you have not told me much of your homeland. It'd be nice if we could pay a visit together sometime. Speaking of which, before I left, an exhibition of some sort was held there. I was unable to attend, but perhaps you had a chance when it was near you. I imagine you would have, with your interest in new technology. Next time you have a chance, I would enjoy hearing what they had on display. An exhibition? That's right, there was one. It was a year ago. Quite a bit of attention, since it was supposed to have been held in Paris. I was busy, preparing for a wedding. I had no time to attend an exhibition. While I was doing that, giving you, a woman I had never met before, my full attention, you were giving yours to a different man? Has it been going on for that long? Had he simply stepped up and taken action, he could have put an end to the stream of letters, each of which gave rise to further misunderstanding. Indeed, he merely asked the white-haired girl person to whom the letters were addressed, whether what they described were true, and the twisted threads of confusion would have all been unraveled. But he made no such effort, relying instead on Mario to serve as intermediary. Intermediary? Why can't I say that word? Intermediary. Mario's the one, basically, Mario's the one, obviously, giving and taking the letters. I feel as though I have now, at long last, come to understand just what kind of man Jacobo was. While he had a great deal of pride in his capabilities, he had far less confidence in himself as a person. If he had a faith in himself, perhaps he could have put faith in his wife as well. Had his pride not been so twisted, perhaps he would not have been so afraid of being hurt. Indeed, he was afraid. Afraid of being rejected by her. Afraid to face a reality where his beloved partner scorned him. Where the woman he loved laughed at him disdainfully. Where she and countless others mocked him. Thought it paralyzed him. The environment in which he had been raised played a significant part in his state of mind, I expect. Occasionally, the name on the letter would change. Mario was making the white-haired girl out to be having affairs with multiple other men. She could never do any such thing, of course. But Jacob, thinking Mario to be his only ally, believed everything she said. If I could only figure out who this man is, where he resides, I'd make him tell every last detail about his relations with my wife. It's you, by the way? But what if that information went public as a result? If news of her infidelity were spread, it would reach the Casca. The fate of the Brizati is in your hands, son. There's a limit to what we can accomplish on this tiny island. If we don't turn our attention outwards, we will wither away and die. And not just this family. The whole land will find ourselves famished and emaciated, defenseless against invasion as we waste away. I won't stand by and watch our homeland crumble. Sure, our methods may be crude, and not always worthy of praise, but they produce undeniable results. The unfortunate thing is, the previous Capo Familia was an incredibly reticent man. It took all he had to merely preserve his small chunk of the world. But I'm not like that, and neither are you. The most I can do is lay the foundation to make it easier for you to work, which means everything rests on your shoulders, of the future of the Berzati family and the future of this country. It all falls on you. The marriage is happening too quickly. It would be madness not to hurry, given the circumstances. You should be well aware of that. We need the Berzati name climbing the social ladder in shown order, or we're gonna have everything whipped out from under us. If the woman isn't to your liking, you find another one that is. She's only gonna be your wife in name. But listen to me, son. You must not allow her to fool around. One of the most vital things to have in society? Money, power, yes, those are important. But what matters most is respect. No one's gonna follow a Capo Familia who they can't respect. They'll try to undermine your authority. Once someone deems you weaker than them, courtesy goes out the window, and that's a judgment that's near impossible to overturn. Betrayal spreads like a fire through a forest, and once that flame's lit, both of us come crashing down. You must not let anyone look down on you. You must not let anyone think you're the kind of man a woman can walk all over. If by any chance your fiancé is ever unfaithful to you, kill her before anyone finds out. Your place is above others. Climb to the top. Never be content with someone above you. And never forget the weight you carry on your shoulders. Okay. This is your responsibility. Okay, Freudian excuse. The fate of Brazil is in your hands. Kill what stands in your way. The fate upon your shoulders. Probably is all of you. I went for the poverty, duty, respect, opportunity, responsibility. Blah 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 blah. Okay, it's just like. By the way, this is why he's this way, because his father is telling him to do all this. I guess that's why he is, you know, the way he is. I must keep intercepting her letters. I must keep her locked up. I still have work to do. I cannot allow anyone to learn about how she's disgraced me. Kill her. That's how my old man says to handle it. That's the last resort. It's not yet. God damn it. It's downright wrong for me to even having these feelings for someone. Fuck. Not swearing. Master, your carriage is waiting outside. How are you coming along? Coming along? Oh, that's right. An inspection scheduled today. I'll be right out. Have him wait. Is something the matter, Master? You look a little hazy. I'm fine. If you're not feeling well, you should stay. I said I'm fine. It's not your job to try and infer my condition. Yes, sir. Damn it. Keep it under wraps. Act like normal. You can at least do that much, damn you. Take care of your trip, Master. Yeah. It's not the usual coachman. I also feel like I've seen him somewhere. Your fault. What? Oui. Hey, speak up. Die, Jacopo Berzati! Hiya! Assassin! Ah! Master! Ah! There's a knife in your stomach! Oh god, anyone! Silence! Don't make a scene! Call a doctor! Yes, sir. Ah, I remember. Where I've seen him before. That's right. I put his factory out of business. I needed it out of the picture to expand my own business. I guess he held a grudge about that. Should have been more careful. Blood flows with surprising abundance from a stab wound. It's not stopping either. Son of a bitch. The world is going white. Come on now. You have to be kidding. You know, I did say at the very beginning, I asked like when he's gonna die. There he goes. I know very well what kind of man you are. You wouldn't hesitate to lead a blind man off a cliff, if it furthered your own goals. You make money off others' lives. You stand upon a mountain of corpses, cackling at everyone below you. For a man like you, love comes naturally as flying. Guess what? You don't have any emotions. You never have. You've always been this way. I don't know who said that, but I assume it's directed towards Jacobo. My childhood was a day after day of mockery. It was just a bunch of nobodies trying to pretend your name means anything. They would say, sneering, glaring. Maria treated me as an equal, but she was the only one. I wanted to show them up, and to do that, I had to rise to the top, or at least high enough that I could laugh at them. My old man wasn't the only one who wanted that. I did too. I had to make them acknowledge that I had value as a man, who actually wants to go through life being laughed at. I had to make them recognize that what I did had value. Well, you see, this is what happens. This is like the cycle of revenge, you know? They are that way because they felt the same way as you did, most likely. Mr. Jacopo, Mr. Brazzati. If you just continue to do that, that will just cause other people to feel the same way. And then also, you know, cause suffering forever and ever. An eternity of, like, horrible people. Anyway. And I needed neither love nor compassion to do it, or that's what I thought. In the beginning, I only ever intended to use that woman. I simply needed her to build a name for myself. When she served her purpose, I could simply cast her aside. That's what I thought. Or rather, that's what I endeavored to make myself think. Deep down, I felt bad for her. If you feel bad for her, I pity this woman who was being made to marry a man she had never even met before. Again, you really have a horrible way of showing it. You know, that you felt bad for her. I'm sure what she really wanted was to have a regular marriage with someone she loved. But because her family wanted to cling to their name, she wasn't afforded that opportunity. I wanted to do something for her. It didn't have to be anything grand. I genuinely wanted that. The day of her wedding was when I first saw her. Her face, partially obscured behind the veil, was gorgeous, and crucially, she was smiling at me. I had expected to find only gloom and despondency in her eyes, but instead she smiled. The moment I saw that smile, I wanted it to be a permanent part of my life. I truly did want to ensure she always had a smile on her face. Is this my room? I'm alive? Damn it. I feel nauseous. What time is it? The world is a blur. So hot. You mustn't get up. The doctor said bacteria entered your body through the wound. Because of that, you have a very high fever. What are you doing here? I was told you had been badly wounded, but thankfully it was not fatal. How did you make it out of the... Pardon? Oh, I see. Mario opened it. Would you like some medicine to reduce the fever? It should help you feel better. Yes. No. Stay by my side for a little longer. Is there anything I can do for you? You can ask me anything. My hand. Your hand? Could you hold my hand? Lewd, so lewd. If you don't want to, that's fine. Like this? Your hand is quite cold. Probably feels better because of your fever. So, about me locking you up in your shed for like many weeks. Yes? I've done some regrettable things to you. Please forgive me. To tell you the truth, from the moment I saw you, I felt like you were what I've been searching for my whole life. Laugh if you like. I felt like I finally found you. But I couldn't act around you the way I honestly felt. You should get some sleep. Could you keep holding my hand till I fall asleep? If you don't want to, that's fine. My hand is in yours. Thank you. You appear to be quite delirious, Master. Those are the things you'd be telling your wife, not me. Oh, okay. It's the maid. It was I knew it. You know, it wasn't actually the white-haired girl. It was all a dream. Of course it was. It wouldn't be that easy. She would never come to my room. She's involved with other men. Jacobo, may I come in? I have another letter. Well, I mean, it's not that, you know, she wouldn't come for you because... Not because of other men, but because she's literally locked inside the shed, buddy. Like, physically can't go out, so... Anyway. The white-haired girl's persistent letters did not prove anything, but simply stoked the flames of misunderstanding. This continued for several months. Though outside the sun shone with gentle warmth of spring, the cold bitter winds of winter still relentlessly blew between Jacopo and his wife. Not allowed to leave her shed and never receiving a reply to her letters, the white-haired girl's only source of information was Maria. Week after week, her circumstances remained the same, but something else was beginning to show signs of change. Her mental state. It's pointless, madam. You're only wasting your time at this point. I saw him throw your letter to the fireplace. He's not going to read anything you write, no matter how much of your soul you pour into it. He cares more about money and work than love. That's the kind of man he is. Just give up and file for divorce already. I mean, I think that's what Maria wants, right? I mean, not just to be a big sadistic troll, but also I think they want her to break up, I guess. But I still don't know why. It might be for like political reasons, you know, like maybe because Mario is part of like a rival mob gang, I think a mobster gang, whatever. I think in the very beginning, you know, or not the beginning, but like in a flashback, she did say she left the island for that kind of reason or something. I don't know, but maybe she wants to bring back her family somehow. No, I will get through to him. Everything will go back to normal. I have faith. All my letters may go up in flames, but my faith will not be lost with them. As long as I keep writing, eventually I will get through to him. So I cannot stop. I cannot. Do you have any idea what he says about you, madam? Jacobo doesn't trust you in the slightest. He goes around calling you a witch. Man-eating devil woman. It's awful. There's no one as pure and as beautiful as you. He says I'm a witch? Listen to me, madam. He never for a second actually loved you. He just wanted the influence attached to your name. Wanted to mingle with the upper class. He used you. But last year, when we went out together, he gave me the Fennicus view of the photography shop. He had the owner make it especially for me. He was just trying to win your favor. If he really cared for you, he wouldn't have gotten you a paper toy. He would have gotten you something like a ring, or a necklace, or some perfume, a nice dress. Something women really like. Has he ever given you anything like that? Well, I got this dress. I mean, she has his dress. He doesn't have any feelings for me. I'm sorry. I just couldn't stand to see you going through this, but I don't know when to shut my fat trap. I went too far. The last thing I need to be doing is hurting you worse. She says, while smiling, you know, inside. You know, for everything I've said, your unwavering dedication is really impressive, madam. I know I've suggested you to get a divorce, but to be honest, part of me kind of doesn't actually want you to split up. Despite knowing you staying with him is causing you pain. You made it this far, I'd like to see you make it all the way. Maybe he actually will start paying attention. Your sweetness can melt even his heart of steel. Yes, you're right. I will keep waiting. Keep writing. And I will not divorce him. Yeah, alright. So please, keep delivering my letters to him. You're my only remaining connection to the outside world. Oh yes, one more thing. If it's not too much trouble, could you tell me how he's been and what he's been doing lately? I do not have much else to write about. So if I could at least relieve him of some of his work-related stress. I am his wife after all. I should be able to do that much for him. I am his wife. Her dedication to him was perhaps closer to an obsession, but she did not seem to be conscientious of the fact that her obsession was killing her. She was visibly losing weight, and her spirit was breaking down. It said that emotions favor time, but the opposite can also be true. The act of waiting, of fervently believing for so many months despite the object of one's affections not returning them, can tear apart a person's heart, crush their soul and shatter their spirit. No matter how radiant, how thick-skinned they may be, with enough time it will wear anyone down. No one is immune. It's pointless, Jacopo. Write all you want, you won't get her back. If she's going to be writing letters, she can at least write one for you. She looks so pure, pretty as an angel. The God Almighty is only how she looks. You've changed a bit. What, have I? The old you would be yelling and screaming, chopping at the bit before storming in on the madam. Now you just go quiet. I'm just a little tired. You could break it off then. What? You've already made a name for yourself in high society. Nobody's gonna suddenly start ignoring you. You've more than put her family name to good use. To put in your own words is no longer necessary. This isn't something I really want to say, but this madam has never liked you. She was married off to a total stranger and forced to leave her home. I'm sure she felt very alone, and so she sought the companionship of other men. Anyone who wasn't you probably seemed quite attractive to her. So without getting violent or threatening to kill her or anything, just end it already, quietly and without a fuss. It'll be easier for you that way. I cannot. Because you still love her? That's wonderful, Jacopo. After everything, you still love her. That's just blind slavish devotion at this point. Perhaps it is a foolish, unhealthy obsession, but I still do not wish to sever ties with her. I cannot get the image of her smile out of my head. You know, again, this is how you treat her though? I don't know. The look of utter elation on her face as she looked through the phanakistoscope. Those captivating eyes beneath the veil of our wedding. I would never, for as long as I live, forget those sights. It's very like shallow though. I mean, again, it's like this happens in every story, especially anime. But like you had like one date, that's it. You know, even like just like that one time, and suddenly they have eternal love for each other. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just incredibly cynical, but like I don't think that's how it works. You know, a real relationship is all about actually treating each other as equals. You know, spending time with each other. Not putting the other one inside a shed for months and never interacting with them. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't be surprised. You're a sentimental one. Well, I guess you always been the kind of mushy, haven't you? True to your heart, despite how you may look. That's not a bad thing, though. In my book, there's nothing but pain in it for you now. But all you can do is wait until she stops writing. But don't worry. If you need to let off some steam on all ears, I'll be here for you until she breaks off with the other men. No, that would not be necessary. What? I know very well that things cannot continue on as they are forever. I knew it from the beginning. I still couldn't do anything. This time, I'm planning on facing her myself. You serious, Jacopo? Yes. I've relied on you for too long. I was afraid of what I might do to her. I didn't want anyone to find out that my wife was being unfaithful. And I thought the best way to ensure that was by locking her up away from anyone else. But the situation is not going to improve unless I do something. If I allow things to continue as they are, sooner or later word of her infidelity will leak. So before that happens, I must face her myself. I must do something. It's probably best if you didn't. I'll tell her anything you want. Make sure things start improving. I appreciate everything you've done. And I apologize for getting you involved in our troubles. But I'm going to end it now. Wait, don't do that. Actually, I've actually been lying to you this whole time, so I can't be found out about that. So, if you're gonna do that, I guess I have to kill her first. Hold on, and I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I imagine, that's what she's thinking in her head. This Maria. No, I must put an end to it. This is a problem between me and her. You might get violent if you go see her face to face. Yes, I might. I might do something that would look rather bad for me. But it's reached a point where until the two of us face up to each other, it's never going to go away. It took me far too long. I wasted too much time trying to find a resolve. I see. You'll need a way to break the ice then. Break the ice? Right. If you got some convenient excuse to talk to her, it will reduce some tension and make it easier to bring up what you need to bring up, right? Here's an idea. That transcontinental railroad you've been funding. That's supposed to be opening up pretty soon, isn't it? Yes, it is. There'll be a message by telegraph when it happens, right? You can ask her to be there to hear it. Then you can invite her to ride the first train. You put your heart and soul in this project, and finally being realized, it's gonna be an amazing day for you. A day like that is ripe for more good things to happen. It's gonna be the accomplishment of a lifetime. Don't look so down in the dumps. You're setting trains across the massive continent, carrying on them the people of this country's dreams. Who says you can't stick a dream of your own on it too? Right. Yes, you have a point. You're totally not setting up an ambush to assassinate me and the white-haired girl in that train or anything. Yes, don't worry about it. A railroad that spans from coast to coast. She's a sickly girl, which makes long trips difficult. But this new rail system should make them much less straining. It would allow me to show her the world. I can show you the world. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm getting excited myself. It'll go great, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Time to get my gun ready. Remember that bullet you gave me? I'm gonna put one in your head. Oh god, my fucking sides. Seriously, they're goddamn right, the both of them. They keep on trusting me, keep on getting hurt. They have to be going through any of this. Oh my god, Mara, you're terrible. And these people call me the Holy Mother. I bet the real Mary's rolling in her fucking grave. Now, I must say, I wasn't expecting you to make a move, Jacobo. A shame that the squirming loser paralyzed by insecurity is a better role for you. If they do end up figuring it out, tough shit. Doesn't hurt anything, just takes away a bit of my fun. I don't understand why he's so infatuated with this railroad. I mean, I do sorta get romanticizing steel, but my kind of steel's a little smaller scale. Anyway, I suppose it's time to get things moving. No matter how this plays out, you will not have a happy ending, Jacopo. You're gonna get a real taste just how much I despise you. Okay, so it really is like revenge or some sort. Yeah, from the very beginning, like when she seemed to be to be his only friend and everything. That might not be the case, you know. I mean, obviously. Maria, oh, there you are. What is it? I'm on break right now. You were assigned to clean the cellar today, weren't you? Well, help me say it hasn't been done yet. What? I did. I cleaned it. Just a casual once over, but hey. Well, do it again, and do it right this time. Because if you don't, it's gonna fall on me. And that's supposed to make me give a damn? I mean it. You take care of it. You get enough special treatment as it is. Yeah, right. I heard you the first time. I'll take care of it. And don't you forget it. Oh, for God's sakes, why should I have to be able to tell her? Is she gone? Ah, what a pain. Who cares if the damn cellar is clean? Not like anyone's bringing guests down there, yeesh. I guess I should take care of it. Better than that tongue lashing by the head maid. God, why did I have to be a maid anyway? Why did you have to be a maid? What a dank place. So dank. It's so dark and humid down here. Ugh, makes me feel gross. Huh. Someone there? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? I came from farther in. Wow, it's seriously dusty back here. We were supposed to clean this last week. Well, clean the whole thing next time, damn it. Just making my job harder. Disgusting. Ah, damn cobwebs. Oh god, oh dear god. I do not want to clean this. Ow! For God's sakes, stack this stuff properly. I gotta fix this whole mess. For the love of... What's this? Something carved into the floor. Never Never noticed this before. Someone got bored one day. What do we have here? Bah, it's almost illegible. Let's see, or mostly illegible. It's not written in English, but my native language. But it's not modern, it's really archaic. Why on earth would an old form of my country's language be carved into the floor of a mansion built here in the New World? You know, I did mention before, like, how these mansions seem to be in different countries, so that's weird. Most of it's illegible, but I can make out one section. Our lives shall be forfeit to the witch's curse. Nevertheless, we must lay bare those who sin upon their souls, for the redemption of those who are impure. Should ye mean not to dispel your curse, we implore you, O witch, to mark with only their bloodlines. The blood of the sinners flows through those who dwelt within this house, but not I. What the? A witch? That's crazy. That's crazy. But why does the handwriting look like mine? Interesting. It's just coincidentally similar. No one's handwriting is perfectly unique after all. Why am I so sweaty? It's not that hot down here. No, forget it. I didn't see a thing. Not a chance. It's real. It's just a tasteless prank. This is silly. There's something in this box. Is that a painting? Has that always been here? Huh? White hair, fair skin. Is this the madam? But then, why is the face all torn up? And her clothes look really old-fashioned. The painting seems worn and faded too. Something about it feels off. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's very creepy, unsettling. The writing on the floor and this painting. What is with this house? It's just a painting. Nothing to get weirded out over. I bet I know what happened. Jacob will probably slash it up in a fit of jealousy. He is a simple man. Seeing this probably wouldn't put him in the best mood. Okay. I mean, that's the same painting from the first story, obviously. So it really is, a weird, like, time-traveling, space-defying mansion, I guess, is what this house is, somehow. What was that? Is someone there? The door is open? Nobody's there. What's this? A painting? Who could have left it here? Is that me? But why? My face, it's been cut. No. Why would someone have this painted just to do this? Who would do such a thing? You're like a witch, my dear. Like a demon. Your very presence brings misfortune upon others. You're cursed. Okay, I don't know where that comes from, but... No, I'm not. I'm not. Was it you, Jacopo? Did you have this painted so you could destroy it? Do you really despise me to that extent? Why do you... What did I ever do to make you hate me so? Why? All I'm doing is waiting for you. You worthless tramp. Are those ears only for show? This house has no need for a garden. I always thought you had at least some sense of taste. Silence! It's all your fault, every last thing. They say goodbye to your freedom. I'll kill you. Does the mere act of waiting impose upon you? Does that my mere presence pervert you? Would it be better if I were gone? Would it be better if I left this mansion? If I left you? I don't think I can wait much longer. There's no end in sight. I can't take it any... There is no end. No, I will set a deadline for when I give up waiting. When the project you pour your heart and soul into is complete, when the railroad opens, I'll be finished waiting. And then it's over. What a coincidence. That's when he would actually go to her. But I guess... I don't know. I think I know what's gonna happen. If I had to guess. I know what she means. But anyway. The Pacific Railroad's last spike ceremony was drawing nearer by the day. That day was coincidentally the deadline the two of them had set for themselves. Jacobo to confront his wife and the white-haired girl to wait for him. As that day approached, she continued to write letters. She wrote letters purely by force of habit, despite having been worn visibly thin. I expect that she could not stop. The act of writing was all that kept her from going mad. By focusing her attention on another person through her letters, she was able to maintain her grip on herself. But that day would put an end to her suffering and despair. When the railroad was completed, all their misunderstandings would be cleared up. They would return to the smiling, happy couple they had been when they were first married. That's a funny joke. The harsh winter would finally come to a close, melting away into the past and allowing them to step into the future. With constant prayer in my heart, I impatiently waited the railroad's opening ceremony. I do not After all, wish for anyone to fall into any kind of misfortune. And that goes for you as well, Master. Now, Master, the door is soon to be shut upon this era. Are you prepared to see what happens next? I see. Very well. Then allow us to make our way to that final day. See with your own eyes, Master, how this tale concludes. The dawn of the final day, where a moon comes crashing down. And please, do not let go of my hand. The night before the opening ceremony, the master of the house headed for his wife's shed. There was a tension on his face, but a surety in his step. He had found the resolve to speak with her. Having locked her away for so long in the shed like a common prisoner, Jacopo was hardly optimistic about what she might say to him. He had undeniably mistreated her, said heartless and cruel things to her, even gone physically violent with her. His actions were inexcusable, even if they were in response to her infidelity. Of course, the very infidelity which had driven him to such behavior had not in fact taken place, but he was unaware of that. There was a chance they would never reconcile their misunderstandings, and that this predicament would not have a positive resolution, but he still clung to a tiny fragment of hope. He wanted to start over with the white-haired girl, to make a new future with her. With that desire burning strong in his heart, he stood before the door to her shed and called out to her. Are you awake? It's me, Jacopo. May I come in? I won't hurt you. I will not raise my hand against you again. I swear to you I will do you no harm. I just wish to speak. I would like to have a calm, rational conversation, and as such, I will not enter your room until you have given me your permission. Now you act this way? Way too late, buddy. So, may I please come in? You won't even give me a response. Alright? Considering how much you must feel about me, I shouldn't be surprised. Fine that you don't have to let me in. But please, at least hear me out. You remember the day shortly after we first met? We went on our honeymoon. If you can even call the little walk we took a honeymoon. I was unable to do anything nice for you then either. I had no experience, no idea how to interact with an upper-class woman like you. I didn't know what I should do for you. And yes, I know, that makes me sound juvenile. I have a tendency to say things I don't mean the more perturbed I get. I'm sure I said things that hurt you numerous times that day. However, at the photography shop, when you saw the phenakistoscope, I can't even say that right, phenakistoscope, you smiled for me. I was genuinely pleased with that moment. I felt like I had gotten closer to you. I very much doubt that was actually an appropriate present for a noble woman like yourself. Jewels or flowers or something like that, something beautiful, would have certainly suited you better. And I knew that, but I assume you would have been given gifts like that countless times in the past. You were after all a beautiful woman. I did not want you to have to compete on the same field as those, or I did not want to have to compete on the same field as other men. I wanted to be special. No, I wanted to be unique to you. No one had ever shown you anything of that sort before, had they? Frankly, I wasn't sure if a woman of your status would take any interest in a phenakistoscope at all. I imagine you were thrown out by now, but I choose to believe you sincerely liked it on that day. That, if just for a moment, I caught your eye. Even if you started seeing other men afterwards, that moment was real, wasn't it? Our marriage was, at its core, nothing but an arrangement between our parents, an exchange of money and influence. That was how it began, but that day I loved you. I yearned to see you smile as if I had loved you my entire life. The Pacific Railroad has finally been completed. That's the project I've been funding. Everyone thought I was crazy, but the railroad now stretches across the breadth of this country. A joining ceremony will be held tomorrow. It's gonna be a grand event. Locally, they're planning on doing a gun salute, and the sound of the last spike being driven to the ground will be transmitted across the country via telegraph. I've procured a telegraph so we can listen to it here in the mansion. In your condition, you probably have trouble handling the crowds at a telegraph station, but here you can celebrate in the comfort of your own home. I suppose what I'm saying is, I want to celebrate this with you. I've made arrangements to make that possible for you because I wish to have you there with me. Would you be willing tomorrow to celebrate the completion of the Pacific Railroad with me? Would you be there at my side? Please, say something. I want to start over. I know very well what I've done to you. You may be at fault yourself, but what I did is unacceptable. But what I did was a consequence of my overpowering love for you. I swear it. Now that's what all abusive spouses always say. I did it for you. I love you so much that I abuse you. Anyway, why will you not answer me? Say something, anything, please. You can hear me there, can't you? If you don't want to, you can just say no. If you do reject me, I'll set you free. I won't hurt you, I promise. I gently opened the door. The door is not locked. Who opened it? Hello? A humid spring breeze brushed against his cheeks. The drawn lace curtains appeared to glow in the gentle moonlight. The white-haired girl was not in her room. Oh, damn, okay. Or, well, I was expecting something else. But I guess, no, she just left, I guess? I don't know. Where have you gone? Stupefied, he glanced about his wife's chambers. To my eyes, the neatly organized room appeared no different than any other day. But to his eyes, it was pale and hollow. The one who was supposed to be there, who was supposed to be waiting for him, was not present. He could not hear her voice when he were in the shed. His place echoed a dry rustling, a sad, pitiful, empty whisper of a noise. It came from the lone object left abandoned atop her desk, the phenakistoscope. It was the one present Jacob had ever given the white-haired girl, a toy made of paper. When spun in view in a mirror, it created the illusion of man and woman dancing. You still had this? That's ridiculous. I assume you had it thrown out. The white-haired girl had evidently made considerable use of the phenakistoscope. The paper was visibly worn and tattered, warped in places, and had even begun to yellow. It spun slowly in the wind, rustling and rustling and rustling, spinning an endless reminder of that day the year before, though there was no longer anyone around to look through it. Why, but you were with other men. Why would you keep something I gave you? It's so worn. Why? A letter. Beneath the ever-rotating phenakistoscope lay a single sheet of paper. As if drawn to it, he scanned the contents of the parchment. It was a letter addressed to Karo Mio Karapo. The salutation written in his native language translated as follows. My beloved Jacobo. Did the fruits of your dream turn out as you hoped? I am sure it was a wonderful and impressively fast. A train that could travel across a continent as large as this is like something out of a story. I wish I could have been there to see it. I'm sure it would have been quite pleasant. Like the day you gave me the Phoenix wheel. Am I being presumptuous? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I would keep waiting for you forever, no matter how much you hated or ignored me, but I made up my mind, so I'm sorry. I decided I would wait for you until the railroad was completed. I foolishly thought that you might invite me to the opening ceremony. Well, he did, technically, but I guess she left before that. But it seems I'm not good enough for you. I'm going to take my leave of your house, so you need to concern yourself with me any longer. However, I do have one request. Please do not forget about all the letters I wrote. Think back on them from time to time. Do not burn them off, for they contain my thoughts, my feelings, my words, a record of my love for you. Remember when you can that I was always watching you. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble writing. My ears are ringing. There's a voice whispering to me, calling me a witch. Maybe it's your voice. My vision is blurry. I'm not even sure what is going through my mind. I'm sorry, this was all I was able to write to for you. I'm truly sorry. I'll leave the Phoenix wheel behind. It was my dearest treasure. Farewell. I loved you. How do I read months again? 5 is after May, right? Why can't I read months for some reason? I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, but like January, February, or is that, how do you read this? Is it day, month, and then year? It doesn't really matter, does it? But I'm thinking it's the 5th of August. Maybe it's August. Yeah, this is August. So I'm trying to think the 5th. By the way, I'm such a weirdo, but I for some reason I never remember the months in order. I have a hard time remembering, like January, February, March, April, May. It's May, right? Yeah. So it's either May 8th or the 5th of August. Either one of those. Anyway, 1869. So this is our final letter. The truth has been revealed. All those letters were actually addressed to him as he turned. His dramatic irony. By the way. What the hell is this? He was visibly rattled, and unsurprisingly so. The mention of the Transcontinental Railroad's opening ceremony, the letters she had written her dearest treasure, her profession of love for him, and above all, the mango text that appeared to be written by someone not entirely in their right mind. Everything about it served to amplify his befuddlement. You waited for me? How could that be? The joining ceremony is tomorrow. It hasn't happened yet. Oh, well, probably, Maria told her the wrong date. Why did you have to leave then? I'm here. I came for you just as I planned. The ceremony's on the 10th. A second later, Jacobo gasped. The day written in the letter was the day prior, May 8th. Originally, the ceremony was planned to be held on May 8th, 1869. However, due to bad weather and a labor dispute, it had been postponed for 2 days. This can't be. I made sure you were informed. I had Maria. Maria. Madam is having an affair. Maria, no, you couldn't. Scattered fragments of memory began coming together in his mind. Maria was the only one who had informed him of his wife's supposed unfaithfulness, and though the letters had not been addressed to him, thinking back on it, they had all been about him. In one of them, she mentioned treasuring a gift. Jacobo had assumed it meant a gift from another man, but in fact she'd been referring to the phoenicoscope that I can never say correctly, sitting atop on her desk, still spinning in the wind. At long last, he finally made that connection. At the same time, he realized that the only person who could have altered the letters was someone they both trusted, Maria. Never. She'd never even once betrayed me. She was not unfaithful at all. She waited unwaveringly for me, and I refused to believe her. I caused her pain again and again. But his realizations came far too late. Yep. I mean, yeah. It's way too late for regrets, buddy. The white-haired girl's spirit had broken and she was no longer at the mansion. Had he caught on to Maria's machinations sooner, things would not have turned out as they had. But he was much, much too late. Maria, why? Why would you do this? Clenching the letter from his wife, Jacob stormed out of the shed in search of Maria. But she was not in the room assigned to her. Where are you? Where have you gone? Maria! Several maids were roused from their slumber by the racket, but no one had the courage to speak up as the master of the house frantically charged through the halls. Eventually, he arrived at his own chamber. He was certain he had closed the door before leaving, but now a sliver of light shone through the gap between it and the frame. From within the room, he thought he could sense someone's presence. When he opened the door, there he saw, comfortably perched upon his own chair, a woman. I've been waiting, Jacobo. Oh, here was a fancy dress now?